closer I get to the top, the more I think about rock bottom. The closer I get to the finish line, the more I think about where I started. I remember the past, and it anchors me to the present. I remember dark days and hungry nights. I remember being told I wasn't good enough, and wondering if it was true. I remember having nothing, giving everything, and yet still falling short. Rock bottom transformed me. It fortified me. It made me who I am. It made me promise myself to never go back and to never forget. I remember every doubt. That's why I believe. I remember every failure. That's why I succeed. I remember every defeat. That's why I win. I remember rock bottom. That's why I know where I'm going. So let's go.
To the net, Rich shot, score!
We did not come this far to just break down and lose now. I'm a winner. I'm going to win.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully last night was rock bottom, and Oilers get back in the series tomorrow night. I am joined today by internet news sensation, a young man by the name of Jeremy Russo. What do you say? What do you think? How you doing? And I'm going to crack a beer because I'm still pissed off.
You know what? I'm probably driving later, Mike. But thanks for having me. I got my Timmies nice and warmed up. But you know what? To say the least, I guess, right now is I'm disappointed. I think the refs are. You know, not doing their job right. There's obviously some discipline that needs to be done on the Oilers' part, but I guess we'll get into that sooner or later. But yeah, it's disappointing. It's disappointing.
That beer kind of sprayed on my laptop, and I'm a little sad, but that adds to the pain of that loss last night. I gotta, I guess, give some credit to the guy that put you on camera. City News' Elliot Knopp. For reporting live from, I guess they're calling it, what are they calling it down there? The
Moss Plaza.
Yeah, the playoff plaza. That's right. And last year it was the Moss Pit, and I think it's still the Moss Pit, but they don't want to give, I think the Dustin Nielsen morning people credit where credit is due for coming up with the Moss Pit. I want to show that little clip here so other people that haven't seen it can see it and laugh like I did. Because honestly, Jeremy, you reminded me of a younger me when I was with my uncle at an Oilers game back in the 90s. I think I was 20 or 21. And that back then we always played the Dallas Stars every fucking year in the playoffs. I was in standing room only seats in Rexall Place, which is funny because there's no seats. You just stand. And by the end of the second period, I couldn't stand anymore. So I want to play that clip, and then I got a very important question that all of oil country wants to know. Just one sec.
We got home ice advantage, so sorry if they're going to take it all away. It's going to have to be a 5 game. But you know what? We got that seaweed, man. We got Nuge. We got Daddy Truck. We got everything, bro. We're going to make it. We're going to make it all the way. Beers are cheaper. Beers are cheaper. Let's go. Price reduction. Lots of porta potties. We're having a great time out here. I love everyone. I love the fans. Thank you, Edmonton.
Great. So on behalf of oil country, like how many beers deep were you when that hit actually happened?
You know what? A lot of people were saying I was a couple in, but I'm not even gonna lie. I had one king size can of Molson, and we were just having a good time, buddy. Everyone was a beauty out there.
that whole scene looked like a blast, and I was there last year for, I think it was Game 7, honestly, of this fucking Back to the Future series, and then we ended up actually at the brew house close by there, across from Grant McEwen, and actually got to sit down a bit and watch the game from there, and we won that, and this sort of feels like deja vu. I hope tomorrow the Oilers come out and just blow the Kings out of the water, and don't leave anything to chance or up to the officials to dictate. Um, have you trademarked Daddy Dry yet either?
You know what? A whole bunch of my buddies, after seeing those videos go around, they were saying the exact same thing. They were like, "I need to put a claim on that saying." It happened not too recently. It was just like my 20th birthday, and I was celebrating down at Central Social Hall on 109th, and I was watching the last regular game season game with the Kings, and I just missed. I was just drinking with my buddies, and I missed the goal. I asked these two ladies behind me. I was like, "Who scored?" And they're like, "Dry." And the first thing that came into my mind, I just screamed it. I was like, "Daddy Dry." And it just stuck with me after that. It just stuck with me. It has a nice ring to it. You hear Leo, you hear Dry, but you just got to stick with it, and it rings a bell.
Definitely. It's not too far from Dr. Dry, like I like to call him, but Daddy Dry is nice too. Um, I want to know, when did you become an Oilers fan?
So you know what? I was speaking with my mom a couple weeks back, and she actually mentioned to me. I have no recollection of it. So I used to watch a whole bunch of playoff games with the Oilers with my grandpa and my father when I was super young. But I don't even remember that, because it was always soccer. It was always Ronaldo and soccer, and more Portugal and more Portugal. And so I actually picked up watching hockey myself. I want to say usually it was started around grade 7, grade 8, because that was when I was more inclined to sports. Grade 6, elementary, being a younger kid, I had other things on my mind. I wasn't really thinking that, hey, this is like something that you're able to enjoy and watch as a fan base. And then I eventually picked up grade 7, grade 8, and then grade 9 is when it really took off for me. That was my diehard year, and I just went, and that was the same year that as well Vegas came into the playoffs, and they had a whole bunch of beauties going on to their team. So I really got into it at that point, but right from the beginning, I have to give it credit to my mom. She can vouch for me then. Diehard Oilers fan since I was in the diapers.
Could be an issue with this stream here on Twitter, but I think it's still working on YouTube. And you've got a buddy, I can assume it's a buddy who's saying Mateo Meyer
Oh
on
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
He says Jeremy with a bunch of exclamation marks and see.
There we go, Vinny
So
D.
some of your friends are out there watching. Yeah, it was funny. You see people, they didn't know who you meant by Seaweed Man, but
Yeah, I was honestly surprised by that. Like I got a whole bunch of people, and I was explaining it back and forth from like the Condors, and explaining the story on how we got it. I was just watching the game, and I think it was Jack Michaels. He explained basically how they got that name, and yeah, it's just a beauty name. It's just something that sticks with a player, and you don't hear that kind of terminology every day. It's usually just parts of their names. So I just thought it was an absolutely amazing name.
favorite player?
Oh gosh. Oh, Daddy Dry. Daddy Dry. It has to be Daddy Dry. Like you see him in the regular season, and he's popping off with Davo and everyone, but like playoff Dry he's just built different. He's just built different. You see that he wants every single shot that he gets, and he's hard on himself when he hits that bar or he hits the iron or anything like that. But no, he's just a beauty. He gets every chance that he gets.
You gotta love it. Honestly, that penalty he took after McDavid scored, he was trying to defend his buddy's honor. That's really what that was. I wish he would have just went over and celebrated with Connor.
Yeah,
And
you
didn't
know
take
what?
the
It's
penalty,
just
but
it's interesting because his post game 1 interview, that's what he was talking about, is that they got to be more disciplined. They're taking penalties because of that, and then he goes off and he gives a little tap. So I don't know. I think again they have to be more disciplined, because that it did essentially cost them that game. But yeah, no, it's something that they got to work on for sure.
things a little bit.
Oilers, 100%. You know what? I said in the interview that it was Oil in 5, and if this game didn't happen, it would have been Oil in 5. And if we didn't get that, or if LA didn't get that lucky rebound, it would have been our game. So if we were more disciplined, it would have been our game. And if the refs weren't playing 3 blind mice at the same time, it would have been our game, right? So 100%, it's gonna be Oils in 6.
I think it's a blowout. I think this fuels them to just come out and just fucking throw the Kings in. I can't say I've been in this position in the NHL, but I've definitely been in this kind of spot in my sports life. When I was younger, and 2 days to think about that and all the frustration and pent up energy. It's just going to be an onslaught, and I really think it's a blowout tomorrow. I figured there might be a blowout in this series, and I think tomorrow's the day.
Yeah, you could even see like this previous game last night, like McDavid, he wanted it. Like in 100 seconds he goes and he scores 2, and like you can see the fire starting to burn underneath his ass, right? So he wants it, and especially after that game, he's gonna be coming back after that one.
You have aspirations of becoming a sports broadcaster in the future. So I gotta ask you a painful question now.
Okay.
Have you applied to any schools yet?
So you know what? I've been on a journey. So actually, I graduated high school in 2021. And so I feel like I always tell like this story to everyone the same way. Like there's so much pressure when you're going out of high school to, get a career, get a job. So I made myself go into university. I was at McEwen for a little bit over there, and I enrolled in a Bachelor of Arts program, and I just figured out, like after a year, I was done my first year, and it just wasn't something that resonated with me. I was thinking like, what am I going to do after this? So I've just been working for now, and I am the type of person to know what I want to do, and I'm not going to be like, I'm going to go back to school eventually, but it is something that I want to do. So I am recently looking into NAIT programs as well too for broadcast and media. That's something that's definitely ringing some bells for me.
There you go. Yeah, it's a good program. That's a good place to start. And it's good to know what you want to do. If I would have thought about it a little bit more, it's probably a road I should have thought about too, because honestly, when I was in grade 11, not a lot of people know this, but I did a Friday night high school radio show about 2 hours away from Boston in the States, and because I was there for my grade 11 year, and it does interest me too. I probably should have thought about going that route, but I didn't. I took my time after high school, kind of like you. Like I didn't really start college. I don't think until I was 21, and I took phys ed. I thought that was something I wanted to do, but looking back, being a sports broadcaster is something that would have piqued my interest, and I probably would have carried on that path if I had chose it, but life kind of happened to me, and I had to go to work and make some money because I was a dad before I knew it.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's usually how it goes, right? And so I don't know, like I know a whole bunch of people, and they're always like, like they've had their time past high school, and they're regretting not going back. And I don't want to be that person that says, oh well, I could have went back. Like I want to make sure that I'm able to execute what I want. And I was doing broadcast all of junior high, all of high school, all of elementary, and it's just something about it that allows me to execute what I want, allows me to use my words, my knowledge, but I also get to put in my own personality, right? So you see these guys on camera like Jack Michaels, Gene Principe, and they're doing their own thing, right? But they're also so knowledgeable, and they have their own personality that they're able to bring into the show, and I just think it's absolutely amazing how they're able to execute it so well.
Good news is we have not lost the stream on YouTube. I just had to go over there and check, but for some reason Twitter has kind of crapped the bed a bit. It seems to be so. Stuart Skinner yesterday, I thought he was fantastic. Honestly, I thought he had the harder task yesterday. He didn't get the shot totals that Korpisalo did, but I thought the saves that he had to make were actually more difficult.
Yeah, no, exact same thought process for myself too. Like Skinny, again, obviously rookie, complete beauty though, but He has to keep up what he's doing. You can see obviously throughout the playoff season now, it's his confidence was already there from the regular season, and you can see it slowly. It's only exponentially growing from this point, and he has to deal with the refs and stopping some hard saves, but you can still see, like, even if the players are phased by the LA team, like, he's not, and he still is that brick wall that can stride across his blue paint and save that one timer, right? So no, he's doing his job. Obviously everyone has their moments, every goaltender, every player, but no, he's doing fantastic.
In style of play, but in demeanor and the way he kind of carries himself, is he a cool customer? Nothing rattles him. He is like the anti Mike Smith when it comes to that. He is the complete polar opposite. Like, he is unfazed, unrattled, just goes about doing his job. And I thought he was awesome yesterday. Like, that save on a 2-on-0. I mean, that was heroic, basically.
Yeah.
I was impressed with him, and I hate to see a start like that kind of let go.
Yeah,
that's probably my biggest like burn on yesterday's game, is that was a quality start, and they needed to get him a win for the effort that he put up yesterday, but it didn't happen. Which one of these teams has a bad game? Because I think it happens at some point.
So are you talking about in our series or? Yeah. Gosh. You know what? Like, I think, again, every NHL team, even comparably in this series, like, they both had their bad games. And last night it was Oilers, and clearly on game 2, watching it down at the Plaza, it was LA. But again, like, the Oilers, the reason that they're having bad games is just it's the discipline thing. Like, they can't stay stoic. You see them shaking their heads, getting frustrated when they come back to the bench. And I don't think the NHL is at that point now. It's already past where you can just throw your hand up and say, oh, that was out of play, right? Like, that's the refs' jobs. And yes, like, obviously if it's an obvious call, they're going to call it. But like, at the end in OT, like, we all thought that was an obvious call. Like, we thought that, it was conclusive, but they hit that inconclusive information and they made that call.
In 2023, with the technology we have, you would think inside the puck and inside guys' sticks, they could GPS track it to know exactly if it touched that stick or not.
Yeah, like, even if it isn't as advanced as a camera, like, there's no sensor, there's no like pressure sensor or anything, and even if they couldn't place anything in any of the players' equipments, like, again, we have such high technology. Like, we have cameras everywhere, and they're so tedious when it comes to offsides, and even with those cameras, like, it seems like the rules are changing depending on who's playing and who's reffing.
Some days they could, and they just thought that there wasn't enough there to overturn that. I'm okay with that, but at this stage in technology and what we know and what we can do as humans, you would think that they could just put a little GPS tracker in the puck and in the stick and know that they collided, and I mean, I guess this is a freak thing. We don't see this that much, but like, you want to get it right, and I don't know if they did, and I don't know if they didn't, and that's why they didn't overturn it. And it's hard to take. It's hard to take that when it basically decides a game, a playoff game.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like, and you have to look at it from both perspectives. Obviously, like, we're all trying to speak non-bias here, but we want our favorite team to win. But it's just they speak on having inconclusive evidence, right? So they keep it a goal, but if you have no conclusive evidence, why make it a goal? And it was just so similar to game 1. So obviously I get that, LA fans, they're gonna be chirping Oilers fans for being upset a little bit here and there, because we got the power play goals, and the only reason the Oilers lost is their 5-on-5, so I just you have to look at it from both sides, and it was 5-on-5, but it's just the calls, and that just don't add up. I don't believe so. No.
He's a guy on YouTube that says these aren't bad games at all. These are 10 games decided by referees. The Oilers fans that think the others are playing 4 points separated both teams equals series. Yeah, I'm not saying we played a bad game so far in the series. I think it's been a tight series. When I say I think one of these teams will have a bad game during the series, I mean a game where they just don't have it, and I haven't seen that
Yeah.
so far this series. So I want to clarify that from my standpoint. I don't think we played bad. I think we've been undisciplined at times, but I don't think we're playing bad. I think our play is good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll clarify a little bit there too. I don't think that we're playing bad physically. Like you can see we got that tempo and the speed. I think we're playing bad emotionally. Like if you look into it, that's where the discipline comes from, and that's where frustration comes from. So like they're playing the game, and we can all see that. Like we've coming off from regular season with a win streak, and all of a sudden, like we're crashing and burning these games, but it's all emotional. It's none of that physical aspect.
Yeah. You want to play on the edge, but not over.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought game two we were actually better, other than the early penalty by Draisaitl. Kane's penalty was a brain fart, but I don't think that was undisciplined. It's just a stupid play, but
Yeah.
not. I don't call that a lack of discipline. Well, maybe it is in a sense, not letting it come down, but he could have batted that in play rather than out of play. It was just bad luck.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. They've sort of learned a little bit that mind their P's and Q's and just win the fucking hockey game.
No, exactly, right? That's all that matters at the end of the day, right?
Brought 2 beers for the show. No, he's number 2.
Oh, there you go. We're cracking one early already. Number 2.
Thanks everybody for watching on YouTube. What the hell happened to Twitter? That's okay. Yeah, still. So this is kind of fun because we're getting more into the actual game dissecting than just you being a youthful, exuberant young man.
Yeah, no,
Having
that's
fun.
what I'm also here to chat about. Like as much as I love the game, and I love it, like I love it equally than as equal to the fan base as the game itself. So I love to go and dissect the plays and the players and everything like that. Yeah.
Is that a regular thing for you to drop down there?
Oh yeah. So I'm not even gonna lie, with COVID happening last year, like I didn't even get the chance to stop by last year. So when I was talking about a whole bunch of stuff in that interview, the buddy when I was screaming that the beers were cheaper, that was actually Mateo. So if he's in the chat, I gotta give him credit to that one. But he was out there last year, and yeah, no, like I've heard from so many people, like the Plaza bathroom lineups were long and the beers were expensive. So although it is my first season actually in the Plaza itself, right over there, it's just yeah, it's a nice place. So I've been pretty consistent. This is my first game, I guess. It was last night, not going there, but you know could have went, but we were celebrating at home. But I would have been so pissed if I was out there in the Plaza just like everyone else.
Game 5, you're back there.
Oh, 100%. We're going out. We're going out there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You'll see me. You'll see me.
Do live on location with you from there.
Yeah, you can hit me up and we'll do a live on spot.
Honestly, tomorrow's a big one. And I hope they can turn around and win Game 5 at home, and then
100%.
put the screws to LA. Have 2 chances to close it out. I mean, this isn't easy. Kings deserve some credit. They're playing a stingy fucking style. I hate it. I'm bored to tears by a 1-3-1, and honestly, I think we should troll them like the Flyers did the Tampa Bay Lightning back in the day by not even trying to come out of your own end, just fucking skate around and just do. I mean, we've done that a little bit. We've really exercised our changes. You watch, we go on a line change and just wait back there because we know they're not coming anyway, and
Yep, and you see, that's what gets me too about this comes just strictly from Oilers bias, is like we get booed when we do that stuff, but like it's part of the game, and you see LA doing that too, and it's just because it's on home ice, right? So it's just another thing that irks the Oilers fans when you're watching an away game, but that's how it is, right?
Yesterday when they were not coming out into the trap. Your team's played a fucking trap all season, and you're booing a team for stalling.
Yeah. No, it was ridiculous. I also want to bring up the fact that like you see Clean Costin, he's sitting on a player in the O-zone, and obviously we get penalized for that, but then you see McDavid get boarded and pinned on the ground, and yeah, sure, like you can not let him get up, but come on, like 7-8 seconds, it's kind of ridiculous. So
we have to be surgical about our play, and then they get allowed a little bit more. Like if you watch behind the net, there's a lot that goes on. I mean, Ekholm, Nurse, lay the lumber to them. There's no denying it, but there's a lot of shit that's going on out there. And at least last night the penalties ended up 7-6, so it doesn't look totally slanted one way or the other. So you can stomach that. And in game 1 we were undisciplined, so I throw that out. Game 2 they got more calls than we did. We're in LA tomorrow. I expect they'll get a little bit more calls than we do. That just seems to be the way the NHL works. The home team gets an extra gift.
Yeah.
What bothers me though is when, like in game 1, Fogle kind of got wrestled to the ice, no call. All right, I can live with that. And then you call the stick infraction on Desharnais. That's where you get me upset. Like you let one go right just moments before, and then you call the other one. Like, if you're gonna call it, call them both. If you're not gonna call one, why call the other? Like and that wasn't gonna decide the game there either. But you put them on the power play in overtime, and you've decided the game. That's where I start to get bothered by it. But really, we can't let game 4 come down to one chance, like and one call. It has to be a fucking clinic. Like they need to route them. They need to blow them out and take officiating totally out of the equation. Like, seriously, this morning when I woke up, the first thing I did is I put on Tupac's Me Against the World, and that's the only thing that calmed me down, because that's really the attitude they need.
Yeah, no, like that's exactly what I was gonna say too. It's just it's the attitude that they need. It's something that's important, and they just gotta stay focused. And game 4 again, like they gotta focus on not getting strictly power play goals. That's important. Like the first 2 games out of all the teams in the playoffs, we had the least amount of power play time, and you could also counter that with the fact that like we score right off the power play, and that's why. But we just got to get more 5-on-5, like more plays going, less pucks hitting the iron, and we just got to keep going instead of just getting those power play goals and relying on them.
Woodcroft tomorrow. You pair up Devo and Draisaitl right off the opening draw with Kane, and let Hyman and Yamamoto play with Nuge and try to score first, score often, and just fucking blow them out of the water? Or do you stick with what you've done and just ride it out, or ask Kane to drop the gloves right off the opening draw with anybody and fucking get him into the game?
No, you know what? I think Kane needs to drop the gloves. Like we were taking some shit from LA that whole game, and yeah, it was back and forth, but like set the mood right when the game starts. Get everyone riled up. Like the fans are gonna love it. The players are gonna love it. Maybe not the refs. It's, again, like that's all we need. Like if we're fighting throughout the game, it's going to cost us, right? Especially if it's a close, tight game at the end. But if you rile you guys, like the whole team up right off puck drop, sometimes it's not for the benefit. But honestly, I believe like set the mood right there for LA. Like, hey, just to let you know, like we're sick of this.
Like fucking old school. I'm in fucking Kane and Costin with Nurse and
Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah. They. God. No. Just someone has to drop the gloves right there. Right at the start.
Yeah, no, the guy suggested that, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Settle all the shenanigans right off the bat and get after it. Thanks everybody for watching on YouTube. Thank you for joining me today, Jeremy. If you've got any last words or anything you want to get off your chest, go for it and shut her down.
You know what? I just gotta give a shout out to my boy Seaweed Man. Like, he was a beauty. He's just a beauty. Like, you know, he drops his or blocks his shots. He does what he needs to do, and you're like, yeah, you know, like he costs some penalties, draws some penalties just like every other player, but he's just a beauty. When my phone started blowing up at work because my post was blowing up, I just took a peek, and then eventually after a while I was talking to one of my coworkers, and they were like, well, why don't you just send the clip to him on Instagram? You know, like, he doesn't have millions of followers, and there's a good chance, you know, like he'll respond. And sure enough, he didn't respond with any words, but he sent a couple emojis back, and that was all I needed. I was just like, you know what, buddy, like, just for that, I'm grabbing a jersey with your name on it. Like, it's gonna happen.
A few years ago, it wasn't on my show, it was on Michael DeBaer's live show. We had Amy Jones on, and my son Max, he was, I think, about 12 at the time, was kind of sitting on my knee, and we were talking to Amy, and me and Michael and her were kind of going back and forth, and she's talking to Max and he's talking back. And it was I think it was during kind of COVID, and the Oilers were not playing anymore. So guess who's in the background and peeps his head in and joins the show? None other than Caleb Jones. And, you know, he still follows me on Instagram now, and we follow each other. And I almost feel bad for him because he's seeing my posts about the Oilers in the playoffs, and he's either sitting in Chicago or on a beach somewhere. And
Yep.
having to fight through it, but that's sort of my claim to fame. So congratulations for Seaweed Man being on part of your beauty list.
Yeah, no, certified beauty, certified rocket, and certified Stonewall right in front of Skinny too. So.
My man, a lot of fun. I wanted to keep it short today and interesting, and you helped do that. You know, your first podcast debut was a stellar one, and anytime you want to shoot the shit about some Oilers hockey, I'm down. Thanks everybody for watching. Keep your sticks on the ice. Go Oilers, go, and let's beat the fucking Kings tomorrow.
Let's do it.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.